Hello, I'm Lewis Vaughan-Jones. Welcome to the programme. The death toll after Monday's earthquake in Colombia has risen to at least 224 people as rescue efforts continue among the dozens of collapsed buildings. Nearly 600 people are injured. Cities of Cali and Pereira were among the worst hit. Well, the 7.4 magnitude earthquake has affected a huge area across the west of the country. It's blocked roads, disrupted communications, and of course is making rescue efforts difficult. Flights have been cancelled at some airports because they're being used as part of the rescue effort instead. Well, the country's president is only a couple of days into the job when this earthquake hit. He's now facing his first major crisis and has declared a state of emergencies. Several countries, including the US, Mexico and Ecuador, have offered to help. So the city of Cali is among the hardest hit areas, and the BBC's Jose Carlos Cueto Lopez is there for us.
Behind me there is a totally collapsed building with rescue teams hoping to find survivors. Is a picture familiar where I am just south of Cali, which is one of the worst hit areas in this disaster. On my way here I saw several buildings with cracks, rubble on the ground and smashed windows. We know that dozens have died in Cali alone, and many hope to find their missing loved ones, like in this case behind me. Here in particular, the most tense moments are lived when the rescue teams demand total silence in the area in order to be able to hear survivors trapped under the rubble. I have spoken to young volunteers who have been working tirelessly since yesterday, while residents and neighbors are visibly affected and reluctant to talk to the press. The scene is repeating in other areas in Colombia. Apart from Cali, the coffee-growing region in the west of the country is also severely affected by what has been called the worst earthquake in a decade in Colombia.
Well, Alfie Panel is a journalist at Latin America Reports. He's also in Cali and gave me this update.
I think Colombians are in shock. They woke up on Monday morning after a long weekend. They were making their coffee. They were getting ready for work. And this very strong earthquake struck, and it lasted for 2 minutes. And to make matters worse, people in Colombia felt very strongly the aftershocks of the Venezuelan earthquake. They share a more than 2,000 kilometer land border with Venezuela. So, the earthquake was kind of in the back of people's minds already. The response has been rapid. The government has mobilized resources quickly. President Abelardo de la Espriella, who was inaugurated just last Friday in the city of Cali, has already visited Pereira, Cali, and Chocó, the most affected areas from the earthquake. And you can see I've been at a rescue site this morning, and the response is really remarkable. You have soldiers, firefighters, police officers, and then dozens, hundreds of regular citizens lining up to put in their 2 cents and to really help their fellow Colombians. So the response has been rapid, and people are working, but there's still in the city of Cali, there are almost 300 people reported missing. That number could very easily rise, as well as 90 people dead in this city alone. So this isn't going to end anytime soon.
And Alfie, just how prepared are the buildings there? Is the infrastructure there for this kind of earthquake?
Colombia is prone to these kinds of events, seismic activity. So a lot of the buildings are designed to withstand a certain amount of shock. If we compare the effects of this earthquake in Colombia to those in Venezuela, they've been much less, largely because of architectural and engineering preparations for an event like this. But there are, in the city of Cali alone, 30 buildings, potentially more, that have collapsed altogether. So it's not to say that there aren't buildings that were vulnerable to this kind of event and that have suffered immense damage. Many hospitals, schools, and other public buildings have also suffered significant damage. So that's still being assessed, but Colombia was relatively prepared for an event like this.
And what about the level of communications? Clearly, with events like this, communications are disrupted, being that, internet, phone, roads. But how significant is it? Is it manageable? Are people still being able to communicate? Are people able to try and piece together and track down loved ones?
Yeah, people have mobilized, as we saw in Venezuela. They're using social media which is an incredibly powerful tool to disseminate images of loved ones, phone numbers to contacts if anybody's seen them. So there's a lot of information, but there's a big kind of information inequality in Colombia. So one of the worst struck regions, Chocó, it's the most impoverished region of Colombia, and it was struck badly. And we're seeing very little information coming out of those areas, largely because they're rural areas deep in the rainforest, and also because they're poor areas where people don't have the same kind of access to infrastructure. And the lower level of development means that the infrastructure is more vulnerable to an event like this. So we're certainly seeing that Pereira and Cali is Colombia's third city. Pereira is a very prosperous city in the interior of Colombia. We have a lot of images coming out of there, a lot of information. But from Chocó, it's a bit of a black hole.
Our thanks to Alfie Powell, bringing us the very latest in the last hour there from Cali.